Hello, welcome back. Let's get more on the fighting in Sudan, where at least 61 people have been killed and around 600 injured as the army and a powerful paramilitary group continue to fight for control of the country. 3 UN aid workers are among those who have died. We're joined now on the phone from the capital, Khartoum, by Amgad Fareid al-Tayeb, former Chief of Staff to the Sudanese Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. I wonder if we can start by you telling us what the situation is like where you are in the capital right now.
Thank you, Nick. I'm actually living in downtown Khartoum, in the center of Khartoum, where the fighting is taking place, and you can hear the frequent gunshots and bombing, and even airstrike happening nearby the airport and nearby the army headquarters and the Rapid Support Force headquarters. This fighting has been going for the second day, non-stop. Even the humanitarian ceasefire that was announced by the army and the RSF as in response to a UN mediated initiative for humanitarian ceasefire for 4 hours. It's from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It was from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. It was not honored. The gunshots and the bombing continued all over this time.
Well, what does that tell you, sir, about the way that this is now playing out? Is there a sense that any of these sides want a resolution, given the fact that there was supposed to have been this truce to allow humanitarian aid, or humanitarian truce as it's put, but it didn't happen. The fighting continued.
I think it doesn't show anything new. It shows the lack of responsibility of both of the leaders of the RSF and the army towards this country and its citizens. This war is taking place in residential areas, in urban areas, mostly in the capital, but also in other cities, with no care from both sides to the well-being of the civilians. The numbers you mentioned of civilian casualties, I think it's less than what it is in reality. The bombing is happening, the fighting is happening in the streets and all over the residential areas. The videos and the photos shows fighters from both parties fighting within neighborhood. Both RSF and army had shown utmost, the leadership of both army and RSF had shown utmost irresponsibility towards this country. And actually...
And deeply concerning, isn't it, because civilians are being dragged into this conflict?
Of course. What's happening right now is direct result of the coup that happened in October 2021, in which the army and RSF were equal partners in toppling the civilian transitional government led by Dr. Abdullah Hamdok. And now they are fighting over the spoils of the crime that they committed together. It also exposes that all the rhetoric and lip service that they have been presenting in the so-called political process about their support and their commitment to the restoration of the civilian democratic transitional path is just not real. I hope what's happening right now can work as a wake-up call for the international community actors who have been pushing for this political process, which turned into a field for distribution power seats and accepting illogical demands from the army leadership and the RSF leadership without addressing the root causes of the issue, the root causes that led us to the coup. And fairest of it, on the top of it, is the multiplicity of armed force in the country.
Yeah, and it's clear, isn't it, that this crisis can't be solved internally. So who will be able to resolve this? Is it the international community? Is it other African nations, the global stage?
I think both regional and international actors on the regional and the global stage has to work and consider that allowing this situation to deteriorate more into a full-scale civil war in Sudan would be more expensive than interfering now. I think the international community needs to look to the reality of the situation in Sudan and consider the consequences and take this seriously by sending a high-profile panel with enough international support and carrot and stick to the post leaders to stop the fighting immediately right now, to take their troops outside the residential areas and outside the cities, and then sit into a practical political process that address the political issues of Sudan transition to democracy and civilian rule, and not merely the distribution of forces. One big mistake that the international community did towards Sudan since the coup of 2021 is dealing with what's happening as business as usual. Sudan is a very important country. It connects the Red Sea to the Sahel area. There is a lot of interest of the Russian and the Chinese and the Western that intersect in Sudan. Sudan has almost 7 neighboring countries. All are unstable: Libya, Chad, Central Africa, South Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia. Sudan can actually collapse in Sudan, can affect the region and the world very badly.
All right. Well, we'll certainly see what